Hey, good morning, everybody, and welcome to IT4U. I'm Jean Mackey, your host. These are interactive webinars brought to you by Information and Technology Services. If you are having any audio or video problems during this live webinar, tell us in the chat pod. If it's not on our end, we have some troubleshooting tips. Here's some links. These are all clickable for mobile options for IT4U. Coming up, our next IT4U webinar is on business objects, tips and tricks, and I'll be the presenter. When I first started out here, that was my main thing, business objects, so I'm circling around again. If you need an accommodation to participate in our live episodes, please let us know. Today, we have data analysis with Tableau. We have Carolyn Rockefeller from ITS here, and I'm going to shift over here and turn this over to Carolyn. Okay.
Good morning. Thank you, Jean. I'm Carolyn Rockefeller. I'm in the BI Analytics group, and some of you may have been hearing the buzz on campus that Tableau is a software package that we have licensed and purchased a couple servers so that we can share data securely. So I have a set of slides, but I'm not going to spend a lot of time on those because I figured you'd be more interested in seeing the tool in action. If we have time at the end, we can go back through it. The only thing that I wanted to point out right away, Gartner, which is a respected source, has said that Tableau is one of the up-and-coming data visualization tools, so that's why we bought it. Okay, here we are on the Tableau non-production server, and we see here it's Tableau NP. That's how you can tell that it's non-production. The other place you can go to get to the production server is through Wolverine Access. So we'll go to Wolverine Access, and we go to Faculty Staff, and we see Tableau here. So let's go to the production Tableau, and just so you can tell where you're at, this has no NP at the end of it. So that's the production server. If you've come to it from Wolverine Access, it's Tableau. If you find yourself on one of the servers and you're not sure where you are, you can always look here. The little NP means you're on the non-prod. Missing the NP, you're on prod. So once you've gotten access from someone who's published, or you've published some data visualizations up on the server, you will see when you first come in all the things that you have access to. In this case, I have access to a lot because I'm an admin, but I can go and search by something that I know, by someone that I know who published something. So I'm going to just go search for the things that I've published. Some of this data is sensitive, so I don't want to just show a visualization someone else created because they may not want me to. So let's go to this one. This is using third week data. The third week count is taken, there's a snapshot taken the third week of the semester, and it's kept in the data warehouse. And I've published that data source up to the server so you can use it as a source for your own visualization if you want. But right now what I'm showing you is what your consumer, what your audience, or maybe you would be seeing. You see this data and you have a chance to make changes to it, which is it's the powerful thing in Tableau, is that it's interactive. So it's not just a static report. I can start picking which countries I want to see, and as I do that, the data is changing. So in this case, it's kind of a silly metric, but third week ages. So I'm charting the median age of students who've been admitted. It's easy data to show you because there's not really any security concerns with this part of the data. So we see two ways here that I'm showing the same data. You have this little tabular report. Well, it's okay. You've got the country name, the age of the student, median age, but then you see it here, and it sort of brings it to life a little more. So that's one of the reasons people like Tableau, is that there's different ways to visualize the data in the maps, in bubble charts, and let's go into there. I'll edit this chart right now to show you how we could, I think I'm editing, how we could make some changes ourselves to this. So if someone had created this and shared it with me, or shared it with you, you can go in and edit and then decide to see this data in a different way, a way that might be more meaningful to you. So what I did was I edited, and then I went to this little show me, and Tableau gives us all these different ways to see this same data. So I might want to see it like that, and it's like, well, that's not really, that's not helping me understand this data any better. But there could be a different case of data that it might be more meaningful in. And this is as easy as dragging over the fields that you have at your disposal here. I'm now showing the academic year, and I don't want to sum the ages, so I can just right click on this little arrow, and I can change it to the maximum age for academic year. Well, that's still not great, because I don't really care about the country anymore. Really, maybe I want to just see, so I can just drag this out of the way and drag it out, completely out of the way. Now we see that for different academic years, these are the maximum age of the students. This 101, sometimes you just want to see the outlier. This 101, is that really 101, or maybe the birth date was in there wrong? So, it could be a avenue for you to do some data cleanup or do some checking. This one might be a little bit more reasonable. There could be somebody here that was 93 going to school. So you have this data visualization that now I started as a map, but I can do some real investigative work here. I can drill down. I just clicked on that little tiny, I don't know if you saw it, but I can show you again. And you can see the underlying data that makes up that. So in this case, I'm only showing the years and the age, but if I wanted to, I could have shown more detail. I don't want to show anybody's names or anything like that, but that's a possibility. This underlying data could have had all of that in it. Let's see, let's go back now. I can save this, or I can revert back to what it was before. And I can save, well, I think I'm going to just leave. So the best way to leave is just to hit this little icon here, and now I'm back out of Tableau. Let's go down to the desktop now. And I want to let you know, if you have any questions throughout this, just put it in the chat, and I'm happy to stop and answer any questions.
Let's just take 1 minute and ask for a response to a brief poll.
Oh, okay. Jean's got a brief poll. She's gonna, are they gonna see the poll?
Should be right there, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Looks like 3 people have created their own visualizations, 3 are new, and 2 have used stuff created by others.
Oh, okay, good. So we have a variety. And what this webinar, it's not trying to replace the 70 plus Tableau training videos that are available. I would highly, highly recommend going out to the tablausoftware.com website. Under the Learning tab, they have, like I said, 70 plus videos of various durations, 5 minutes, 15, 20 minutes, going into all kinds of detailed training on how to do calculations, how to do grouping, how to blend data. There's one that's called Getting Started. So really, if you have time, squeeze in a video now and then, just to become familiar with what's available in Tableau. It's really worth the time. They go really fast. You can always pause them. So in this case, I've brought up the Tableau desktop software, and I can start off again here by saying I'll start a new software so that we're doing something fresh. So I click new. Sometimes I get these errors with my network drive. It doesn't like. I just click OK.
Question.
Sure.
Lee wants to know, did you do anything to the geoloc data or just use what you got from the 3rd week count?
Good question. I used the, let me go into this. Since the data is published to the server, you could use this same data. So I'll show you. I go to Tableau server data. I've published it to prod, so, and I've opened it. It has no MPL IDs and nothing's, no person's name, so it's safe. And I've published it to all users, so you should be able to use it as your data source if you want. And the Tableau servers are all Kerberos authenticated, so if you can type your password in correctly, you can get in. Okay, you go to the UM site, and I see here 3rd week personal data. So I've published the one personal data table as something that you can use. I guess I also included student groups. So there's 2 tables in this data source. And what we see here is that we have geoloc state, we have geoloc country. I can right click and see what the properties are on that. It's going to bring over the 3-digit codes, and it's got a geolocation. It just knows the latitude and longitude of these countries. So I bring over the countries, and then if I brought over the age, it shows me that these are the ways that would be possible to do this visualization. So in this case, the countries are showing that, yes, of course, we have most coming from the United States. And again, it comes over as a sum. I'm going to change this, let's back to, say, the median age. But I like seeing the map in this way better. So I don't know if, I hope I've answered the question, I don't know, but some of the things just work, which is super great. It doesn't mean you can't create a group or create another calculated field out of something that you know is a geographic description. In the case of states, if you wanted to change this and say, I just want to map things for the United States, it was as simple as just dragging over the geoloc of the states, and then we see the ages just for median ages for just the United States. Okay, so say we have this United States map, and it's always good to change the names of these sheets before you're going to publish. Map of median ages for USA. But say I wanted to also have a map of the median ages for the country, I mean for the world. I'm going to go in, and the control key is a nice thing to use. You just click on the age, and then I go back up here to the geolocation country, and I just drag those over together. Whoops, that didn't work. Okay, there's always Control Z. Control Z is your friend. So I click on that, click on the country, and then I see that since those 2 are highlighted, it gives me a chance now to just say, okay, I'm going to do the map. And there we have it. I'm going to make this the maximum ages. And so world map of max ages. But this is for all academic years, which might not, and I can always get rid of this by clicking that. That might not be what we want to see, really. We want to see for a specific academic year. So I'm going to take this academic year, drag it over here to filters, and create something that the users will be able to choose from. To start off with, I'll say all. So I say all, I hit apply, and I say okay. But I'm going to want both of these tabs to be consistent with this filter. So I right click, I say show quick filter, which means I can then choose from that on the side. Right click again, and I want to apply this to all the worksheets. So you choose this first one, all using this data source. Don't have to do this, but in this case, I don't want the one chart to be different than the other. It's just kind of misleading, because what I'm going to end up doing with these, now I have a world map of maximum ages and I have a map of median ages for the United States. I'm going to go to this little dashboard icon. It's kind of the one that has 4 squares. And I'm going to take these two and create one dashboard that's going to get published to the server. So first I'll take the map of median ages of the United States and drag that over. Then I'll take the map of world ages, maximum ages over the world. And see how it's sort of letting me decide where I want to place this? I'm going to place it at the bottom. So I have these two maps now with similar data, and one set of filters over on the right. And I can change how these filters look just by clicking on that. Let's see, clicking on that. Clicking on this little teeny tiny arrow, and I can make it a multi-value drop down instead, so it doesn't take up as much real estate. I might also want to take a text box and put it across the top to give the person who's using this a better understanding of what the data source is and why I'm sharing this with them. So data source, 3rd week, Oracle, data warehouse, maybe they don't need to know that, the Oracle data warehouse, 3rd week, count of students, last refresh was March 2014, and I want to center that. I want to center both things. Okay. And I can add this. I can put in another section. Oh, do we have any questions? Thank you, Jean. If there's any questions, just type them in the chat. So it gives you the flexibility to be very creative. I can add a web page down here that might be something that's linked from Wikipedia, or it could just even be our UMich page. Say I just want to have that show up so that when someone's coming in here, they have this to look at. But probably more likely you might put in a Wikipedia article about ages of students or something that's pertaining to the charts that you're showing. You might want to add blank space just to give like a buffer between areas of your charts. You're seeing here that I'm showing this on a desktop. Down here on the left, it's the dashboard size. We have the chance to change this to fit on whatever you think that your user base is going to use the most. So if you know that they're going to be using very wide monitors, make use of that space. And then I see, okay, I have all this space now. Maybe I want to put in some more text box with glossary of terms, or some more tabular charts. And all I have to do here now with this one is grab this. It doesn't have to take up as much space as it started with. So there is an element of design here that, as we practice and as we see other people's data visualizations, we all can become better at. Dashboards for pilots in planes have a T format, T formation, because our eyes kind of read across and then down the middle. You might want to keep that in mind. The most important content that you want to show your audience kind of across the top and then in the middle. When I go back to the server, here's the server. And no, that's not what I wanted to do. When I go back to the server, we see, I don't want to show that one. We'll have upcoming events too with the BI community, where different people are going to be showing you what cool things they've done. Office of Development has done a lot. So let me just go to one of mine here, that third week careers dashboard. See a lot of white space over here? I could have optimized this when I was publishing it. I think I did for an iPad. So, you know, I might want to have another version that's for a different type of PC. Let's see, what else can we talk about? Any other questions? Connections, data connections. We talked about a data connection, like in this case, I can show you how I publish. So you go up here to server and you do publish workbook. And in this case, I'm going to put it on my project. And if you're not sure what project to put your content to, or if you don't see anything in this list, it could be that you need to send a for help email and ask for a project for your specific content. So far we have quite a few people publishing things, so like the Ford School of Public Policy has their own project folder. The development office has quite a few different project folders to keep their different content categorized. You have a question?
Question, does Tableau connect to business objects to pull the data?
Tableau does not connect directly to business objects. Business objects is sitting on top of, it has a universe that sits on top of the Oracle Data Warehouse. Tableau can connect directly to the Oracle Data Warehouse. But
so it's pulling from the same data.
Same data, yeah. It's just that it's not like connecting to business objects. So let me show you, I'm going to publish this workbook and I'm going to call it my Ages third week. And I don't want to publish it to, well, maybe I do. I want to publish it to all users and then these two people. I could publish it to another project that has a more limited scope. In this case, I'm publishing it to the ITSET group, and if I click on this little arrow, I see all the people who are actually going to see this data visualization when I put it up on the server. I can put in a tag if I want to search for things that are grouped in another way that I'm calling age or ages. I can click on the authentication, and in this case I used the data that was on the server, so it already had an authentication method with an embedded password there. So I don't want to change that. I don't want to force anyone to have to know the password to that Oracle database. So then I hit publish. There's another question?
Oh, Leticia just says, Angela, you can look at the query in Business Objects to guide you to the right views/tables to connect to with Tableau. She's just offering feedback to the last question.
Yeah, that's a very good suggestion. Once this is done publishing, I'll go back into a workbook and we'll do a connection directly to Oracle. And I can show you that there's 3 ways to connect to underlying data. You have simple select. You can have a SQL that's got 2 joins of 2 different tables, or you can have custom SQL. So in this case, this is published up on the web server, and all those people that were in that group that I was showing the list now can interact and use these data visualizations. So we'll just close this. We'll go back to Tableau Desktop, and I'll just do a new. I'll tell you one thing about the custom SQL with business objects too, though, is you have to be a little careful if it's custom SQL that has parameters. You can't just use those. You have to have those completely qualified. There's another question?
Jeff says, can Tableau import data directly from an Excel workbook?
Yes, it can. So, as this is another question?
Jane says, what is the URL for the published dashboard?
Okay. That one I published to production, and if we go in here, there's 2 ways to see that URL. Right here on this dashboard, if I did share, this little share, you see the email that the URL. Whoops. Let's just go into another one here. Click on this one, and I hit the share. There's a couple ways. While you're publishing, you see there's a link that shows the URLs. You can also hit share if you've already published. You can embed this in HTML, or you can copy and paste this to someone so that they don't have to track down where they're going. So there's these 2. Anytime you've published something, you can see under share. And the only other way to get to this is going through Wolverine Access to the Tableau website, and then either searching by the project, if you know all of the things you're looking for today are in the dev project or in the BI project, or you can search by who published it. I could search by that tag that I put in. I put in age, so I want to see anything that I tagged with ages, or date. It was recent. I use this a lot too, just sorting. It's a really quick way. You hit this little modified, and it's going to sort everything based on what was published most recently. So you can see there's a lot of publishing going on. You go back in here. Let me just close this. Maybe it's taking a little long to open a new one because I've got too many things open. So I can go in here. I have some connections to date already, but I'll do another connection. And we see this long list of possible inputs. You can connect to Microsoft Access, you can connect to Excel, a text file, import it from another workbook. What I showed you before was Tableau. I wanted to go to Oracle. Okay, go ahead. We have another question?
Yeah, Leticia says, can you talk a bit about data blending limitations?
Can I talk about data blending limitations?
Hold on just a sec.
I don't know.
Can you talk a little bit about data blending, when to use it, and any limitations that you know of? And then we have another question too.
I think maybe we should talk about that offline, Letitia. I'm not sure what you mean by limitations. I mean, data blending depends on if different sources have keys that you can match up. You know, you have an Excel file that has, say, student grades, and you need to have an EMPL ID probably to match up with an Oracle data warehouse table that has student data, because it's going to be all saved by EMPL, keyed by EMPL ID. So there are things like that that you need to have in your underlying data to make sure that the data can mesh together. We might want to have another meeting about that. The data blending, there's a data blending video by Tableau as well, so you might want to check that out.
And Judy wants to know, do you have to rebuild a report if your data source changes?
Well, okay, so let's go in here and no, yes and no. It's whether you've connected with live data or whether you've imported all the data. Say I'm going to go to the Oracle data warehouse for student financials, and I know it's on PAO2, at least until the Exadata migration at the end of the month. I'm going to hit connect, and then I'm going to go again to the third week. So I hit third week. I get all these tables, and as I said before, you can bring in custom SQL from business objects as long as everything is qualified. I could bring in multiple tables here and do joins. I could take the ACID plan table and say the personal data table maybe. And it'll ask what I want to join on, and I'd want to join on EMPL ID and ACID year, so I would just add that. Say OK. Say OK, and it's going to ask me now, do I want to connect live? Do I want to import all the data, or do I import some of the data? There's no right answer with this. If I'm just doing some proof of concept, I might just want to import some of the data. If I want to make sure that I'm not missing anything in my research, I'm going to import all the data. It's one-time pain point. This data is static. It's third week count. I just have it then in my visualization, and I publish it to the server, and it's very, very quick. If my data is changing a lot under the underlying data, I might want to connect live so that my user, whoever's using this, gets to see fresh data every day. If I import all data, I could always refresh the data as well. So there's multiple ways to have the data available to the user on the server. Do we have another question?
Can we connect to multiple databases?
Yes, you can. You can. You just have to, okay, right now I'm going to say import all data. It's going to take a little while. And it's going to ask me for a temporary place to store that data on my computer until I publish it to the server. So it's importing. It's going to take a little bit, but then I can also add another data connection, and I think that's what Letitia was asking with data blending. I can add another data source. I can add an Excel file at this point that might have just the students and their ACT scores or some other sort of score that we don't keep. We keep ACT scores. So some other sort of piece of information about them that's local to my unit. With any of this, it's good to test it out to see if performance is an issue with bringing in, 5 different data sources. If things have similar keys and you're doing refreshes every day, you might want to ask the ITS department to do another local or another data warehouse table if performance seems to be an issue. But Tableau sells their software on the fact that you can take many different sources of data and put them all together in one visualization. There's a lot of forums and Tableau blogging that goes on about performance and improving performance, and in this case, and bringing in a lot of data. So, I might have wanted to filter if I knew I wasn't going to be using every single piece of information on this third week personal data. I could have added the filter right off the bat too, which I could show you. Is there another question?
Angela says, our database is hosted. It's a membership database, but we want to pull financial and giving data from business objects as well. Can she do that?
Well, you'd need to, okay, there's a couple ways. You'd need to find the underlying tables that your business objects query are using, or what Ford School of Public Policy is doing is running their business objects query as a scheduled report and having it go to a network drive, and then they pull in from that network drive file on a daily basis. This is taking a little longer. There's a way to sorry, this is taking too long. But you can refresh the data. You can publish the data, and when this finishes, I can show you how to do a refresh schedule. So in the case of your business objects query, if the underlying SQL, if you open up your report that you run and you can see the custom SQL, if it's pretty simple, I might start with that. If it's kind of complicated and you don't want to be responsible for changing that report, if it's a report someone else has created and you're just running it, you might want to run it and have it go to an Excel file and then use that as your data source.
About 3 minutes.
3 minutes? Maybe I should cancel. Let me open this other one here that I can show you how I can go here and do an edit data source filters. That's what I was, if I wanted to filter on just certain years, when I was in this other data source, I could have done this and said, I don't want to bring in all these years. I want to just see the last couple. So that would limit the amount of data that's being brought into my query right away. And that's one way to optimize your performance. Make sure you're not bringing in more data than you need, than your user might need, because it's just going to slow things down. Bring in what you need when you need it. if I wanted to add another data source here, I do connect to data. So I had the 3rd week count, and I could have an Excel file that I just bring in, and it asks again whether there's headers and your normal Excel thing that I'm going to import all the data and save the temporary file. And do I want to replace it? Sure. Hopefully this is a little faster than the last one. So now I have these World Bank indicators, and what's nice too is I can right-click and view the data here. So it's just a nice way to see, oh, what did I bring in? Was this really what I meant to bring in? Oh, okay. So I've got some country names and some stock data, and this is, I think, data that Tableau provided in one of their samples. So it might not be very meaningful, but for our example, it's just, we're playing around here. It's data by country. So might have, this doesn't have anything to do with students, but say it does. I can then publish this data. And this is what I meant by if you had an Excel file on your server, you can publish it and put it on a schedule. So if you were going to be updating your data every morning on your in your Excel file through something like a business objects scheduled report, I can pick what time of the day. Say every weekday at 4 a.m. I'm going to have this Excel file published back up to the server. So then the data is fresh every day at 4 a.m. And then I just hit publish, and it's going to go up there and be the World Bank data by country, World Bank indicators up on the server. So there's so much with Tableau that I know we just touched a little bit on some of the areas. Watch out for the other BI community events that are coming up in the next few months. We've got a lot of good presenters, and I'm sure they'll show you all sorts of cool ways to do visualizations. And we have a BI community. Share things there, please. And we might have some more future webinars too. So I hope this was helpful. Turn it back to Jean. Bye-bye.
All right. Thank you, Carolyn. Stop sharing here. And go back here. What happened to my... there it is. And as always, this will be... okay, some resources. These links are all clickable. The Tableau server, the Tableau page on the BI website. Carolyn was talking about Tableau offers free online training. There's really a lot. And then this last link is if you're not already a member of the Google Plus community for Analytics and Business Intelligence, you'll find out about other trainings and gatherings that are coming up. Today's recording will be posted on the IT4U page in my link, and also on the public web page on the Next Gen Michigan. If you're not on my list where you'd like to get announcements of upcoming webinars, there's a link right there. If you need more technical help, you can always open a ticket with the Service Center. So that's about it for today. Thank you very much. And those of you who are here live, please stick around, and we'd like to get some feedback from you.